So today we're diving into a really fascinating and, frankly, pretty chilling piece of source material. It's called Unelected Power. It imagines a scenario that pulls back the curtain on the hidden machinery of government, and it asks a question that gets right to the very heart of democracy. And this is the question the source material hits us with right from the start. It's a powerful hook, isn't it? When the person we elected is no longer actually capable of leading, who really holds the reins of power? The answer it gives is, well, startling. A secret council of unelected senior staffers. We're talking handlers, strategists, people who seized control not through some dramatic coup, but by quietly stepping into a power vacuum. So let's dig into their story. And this isn't just about politics, you see. It's a story of pure deception. It's all about an illusion machine, one built to project stability to a nation that has absolutely no idea its leader is, for all intents and purposes, gone. And like any machine under that much pressure, this one, well, it's going to break. Okay, so let's start with that core premise. The most powerful office in the world is effectively empty. So what happens when a small group of unelected people decides, hey, we should probably step in and fill that void? Well, they call themselves the Council of Stability. Sounds pretty good, right? Their stated mission is noble enough: prevent nationwide panic, keep the country running. But, and this is a huge but, they're operating entirely in the shadows, making decisions that affect millions of people without any kind of public mandate. And this is where the story really taps into those deep anxieties about unelected power, that tension between what's stable versus what's actually democratic. And this quote from Cassandra, the chief of staff and pretty much the leader of this council, it just perfectly sums up their mindset. For her, the act of maintaining control, of stopping chaos, that is leadership. It doesn't matter how you achieve it. But not everyone on the council is so certain. This quote, which really gets at the fears of the speechwriter Theo and the president's own doctor, Dr. Shell, it shows you the deep ethical cracks forming at the center of their operation. They know they're living a lie, and that guilt is just eating away at them. So how exactly do you hide the decline of maybe the most visible person on the entire planet? Well, as we're about to see, the council developed a really precise four-step method for manufacturing their illusion. Now, what's really wild here are the sheer mechanics of it all. First, you simplify the message down to almost nothing. Then you control all the press. No tough questions, no follow-ups. Then you limit any public appearance to under 90 seconds. And this is the most chilling part. You permanently delete any evidence of the truth. It's basically governance as stagecraft. So the crucial point here is this internal war that every single character is fighting. You've got the powerful argument for stability on one side, but on the other, you have the fundamental principles of democracy and truth. Every single decision they make is a choice between these two columns. But an illusion this fragile, it can't last forever. Our next section gets into the exact moments where the cracks didn't just show, they shattered the entire facade. And the unraveling is just this rapid, terrifying escalation. First, there's a freeze behind closed doors. Then, a catastrophic mistake on a live, unmuted call with foreign leaders. And finally, the ultimate nightmare, a total breakdown during a national broadcast, live on TV. I mean, can you imagine the shock in that virtual room? The leader of a global superpower just trailing off, admitting he's lost his place on a call with other world leaders. This quote just captures that horrifying moment the council realized this problem was way bigger than they could manage. And then, this. The moment the whole carefully built illusion just imploded on live television. He goes completely off script, and in his confusion, he speaks this simple, devastating truth. I am tired. And with those three little words, the secret is out. The fallout was insane, and it was immediate. Within just a few hours, the clip of that broadcast had 12 million views. The narrative was no longer theirs to control. The truth, once it got out, spread way faster than any lie they could possibly invent to cover it up. So, this public collapse forces a final reckoning. The council can't hide behind their mission of stability anymore. Now they have to face the consequences of their actions head-on. The damage was immediate, and it was widespread. Social media just erupted with speculation. Allies around the globe started demanding answers, and the media began asking the one question the council never, ever wanted asked. who is really in charge here? With their backs completely against the wall, one of their own makes an incredibly courageous choice. Fiona Park, the deputy communications director, decides to invoke a constitutional process, a failsafe designed for a moment just like this. She submits a formal report, knowing full well it will tear their world apart, but she sees it as the only path back to the truth. And her justification for it is one of the most powerful lines in this whole story. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't some mistake. It was the truth they had suppressed for so long, finally finding a way to the surface. With the truth now out in the open, this story shifts. The goal isn't to maintain the illusion anymore, but to dismantle it with some measure of grace and honesty. So they put a real plan into place, a 3-step process to end this crisis with dignity. First, they brief the cabinet honestly. No more lies. Then, the president himself addresses the nation one last time to announce he's stepping aside. And finally, a peaceful transition of power begins. And in his final address, the president delivers the story's central message. After months of being used as a symbol, he reclaims his own agency to define what true leadership is. And it's not about clinging to authority. It's about having the wisdom to let it go. But the story doesn't quite end there. It leaves us with one last powerful thought about the very nature of the systems we all rely on. And this is the final, chilling takeaway. The source argues that the greatest danger isn't a leader's failure, but our own inattention. The real threat is a system so complex and a public so disengaged that the person in charge can just vanish, and nobody even notices. It's a sobering thought and a pretty powerful question to leave you with.